Hi guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics. I'm Lamia.
And I'm Ruby, and today we're reviewing Anora.
Yes, it's the latest Sean Baker movie,
Yeah.
and we're very, very late to the party. This movie came out many months ago, and honestly, I feel guilty for not watching it as soon as it came out because a lot of people told me that it's a good movie. But yeah,
I kept seeing it in the movies, and I was like, "What's Anora? No, I'm not gonna watch it." And I don't know.
yeah.
You told me about it, and I'm like, "Oh, so it's a good movie. I didn't know that."
But the thing is that when people were telling me that it's like the best movie of 2024, I watched the trailer, but to me, like the trailer is not that promising. It seems like a, cheesy rom-com when like this kind of broken girl meets this guy and he fixes her life. So, yeah, I wasn't really excited to see it and I didn't understand the hype about it until I watched it. No, I can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice. I'm gonna watch it for a third time next week. And yeah, I'm very happy that we're reviewing it today.
Yeah, me too. I'm very happy to have watched it. I do understand why the review wasn't that interesting. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many scenes that you wouldn't have been able to put in a trailer.
So Anora is about Annie. Annie's a sex worker, and her life is centers around stripping and day sleeping and a little bit of escorting here and there.
Yeah.
And all of that stops when she meets Vanya, who's a client that she meets in her strip club. And Vanya is a 21-year-old, Annie is 23. So Vanya is this Russian, very rich Nepo baby. He's a
Yeah,
Nepo baby.
pretty much.
And so Vanya's life is all about having a lot of fun and spending as much money,
As he
as
can.
much of his parents' money as he can.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he starts, Annie starts working for him.
Yeah.
And throughout the entire movie, we see the lines between work and her emotion get blurred. And
Yeah.
so we explore that kind of line of work and that kind of connection between them.
And
Yeah.
then can we say what happens?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they get married, but
Yeah.
it does not last because obviously his parents
Find
were
out.
very mad about it. And
Yeah.
since he's a Nepo baby and he's just this really unserious kid,
Mhm.
there's not much he can do when his parents get involved. So yeah.
Yeah. And there is a beautiful um, arc to each character that like each of the characters starts at a point and end up in a totally different place. Vanya to me starts as a good guy and he finishes as a bad guy. Annie starts as this I wouldn't say bad person, but like person who seems dehumanized at
Yeah.
first, or like
Yes.
yeah, she's almost an object, like she's
Yeah.
objectified and she ends up as a human because
Yeah.
she's not a human when the
Yeah.
movie starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful description. Um, the biggest plot twist for me in this movie was the fact that it's a comedy. I honestly, when I've heard that it's a movie about a stripper, I was like, okay, what is this gonna be? Maybe romance, maybe drama, and then it turns out to be a comedy, and I was
Yeah.
really, I flipped off my seat when like the comedy started happening. I just couldn't
Same.
stop laughing.
Honestly, like you feel like it's two genres.
Yeah.
It's definitely a romance at
Hmm.
first, and then it turns into a comedy. But like if you think about it, this is what it's like to make a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's a rom-com. You have the romance in it that's very pronounced, and you see the comedic
Yeah.
part of the movie very clearly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved how they switched from one genre to another and without losing like the essence of the movie, because we see movies all the time trying to do that, and to me it didn't work. Like Saltburn, for example, like they tried to go from one genre to another and I didn't like that. But for
Was there
Anora,
comedy inside? There was a lot of sarcasm in Saltburn, but
yeah.
I wouldn't have categorized it as
Mhm.
comedy. But yeah, it was two genres at once.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Annie got nominated for an Oscar for Best Lead Actress
Yeah,
because of this role.
also Iger, the Russian guy, not Vanya,
Not
the
Iger as the best
Iger.
supporting role.
Yeah.
This character was so I don't know. I had so many questions for this character because this was one of the main elements of the comedy was like
Mhm.
the role this character plays, and he's like this tone all through the movie. We just see
Yeah.
like small scenes where he just looks at things and a very focused way, and I kept wondering like where are they going with this character
Yeah.
until the end we find out. And yeah.
For Iger too, as I was saying, there's a beautiful character development because Iger starts out as a stereotype. Like
Yeah.
you hear a Russian, he looks like the mafia Russian guy
Yeah.
as soon as you see him. But like from the start, he's trying to show that he's a nice guy. Like he does not understand why people are trying to categorize him
Yeah.
at all, and so it make you question yourself like why do I think that he's in the mafia as soon as I see him just because he's Russian and he looks Russian.
And he has this buzz cut and like he
Yeah.
doesn't speak and like he
Mm,
holds people back.
totally. And that's, I feel like this is a good use of stereotypes. We see that all the time in movies, and I feel like most of the people miss the point with this, but in this movie they use this to like totally show that just because someone looks a certain way doesn't mean that they're in the mafia.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the acting was great. I love the scene where Annie, in the end, where Vanya tells her that they're actually getting a divorce, and
Hmm.
like we can see, you were talking about the human and her
Yeah.
objectified personality. We can see her flip that switch
Hmm.
because she went from having a serious conversation with Vanya to at the end when he tells her, "Oh, thank you, I had a good time." She starts speaking
Yeah.
with the voice she had when she speaks with her clients, and she's like, "Oh,
Totally.
really? You had a good time?"
Mm.
And yeah, I also loved her New York accent.
Yeah.
I don't know if the actress is actually from New York, but she did such a good job. Yeah,
Speaking of that scene, um, that's the human part that I was
yeah,
referring to, because she just there isn't like a specific moment where Annie admits that she has feelings for Vanya or that she cares a lot about staying about with him. Like you just assume that she's with him for the money, but I don't think that at any point she was with him for the money. Maybe at
no,
the beginning, but after that, I feel like she really started to like him,
yeah,
and that's just so human. Like I love the fact that there wasn't a huge love declaration and that everything was, you just assume that things are the way they are. And as opposite to that, you see Vanya's reaction. You see
yeah,
that he's just a spoiled kid
yeah,
who had everything that he wanted, and he had the girl, he had his new toy
yeah,
for a while, and now he was sick of her and he was ready to go back home, and he literally switched. Like that Vanya at the end wasn't the same likable Timothée Chalamet lookalike that we
yeah,
saw at first.
yeah.
So
Crazy how you named the girl as a toy because that's really how she was portrayed during the whole
yeah.
movie. And I think that's also what's a bit troubling in the movie in the first
Mm.
half because they make it seem like everything's perfect. Like, when they
Yeah.
go to Vegas, everything's good. Like, Vanya has the money. Annie is like, she's everything he
She's having
wants.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, she's having fun. And that's maybe the one thing I did not like about the first half because
Mm.
they glamorized Annie's job. They said, "Oh, it's like it's okay because I mean she's working that job, but she found the perfect guy, and now like her whole
Yeah.
problems went away." And I feel like that was very surface, like
Mm.
that was a very surface representation of it. But towards the end, we start seeing her more human side, and we were like, okay, maybe it's not
Yeah.
that good because even though it seems good at first, and even though yes they can go wherever they want and like everything looks good, long
Mm.
term this does not work and it just it's a beautiful message, I think.
Totally. And there are a lot of stripper movies. We saw,
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw Hustlers
I did. I don't
with
remember it
Jennifer
though. Yeah,
Lopez.
yeah,
I feel like that movie tried to somehow glamorize that line of work. And yeah, there are people who work these kind of jobs and they're not necessarily miserable. I mean,
no,
I don't know, so I'm not gonna assume anything. But I feel like it's very important to just have a director who would show that these people are not just entertainers. This
yeah,
is just not, because they're objectified all the time.
yes,
That's why I love Sean Baker. Almost all of his movies are about this line of work. He did Tangerine, that's about a trans prostitute. He did the Florida Project. It's about a stripper who refused to have sex with her clients, so she got fired from her job, and she had a 6-year-old. She's a teenager also, like, who has a
Uh-huh.
6-year-old and who lives in this motel, and the whole movie is from the 6-year-old's perspective.
Oh.
So you just explore this very vicious world from the very colorful and beautiful eyes of a 6-year-old. And also, I want to mention that I'm not sure of this, but I saw this during the credits at the end. I saw that Sean Baker is also the editor of this movie,
Okay.
and I just loved the editing, especially that last scene. To me, it's such a beautiful way to end the movie. Like, it's like a resume of the entire thing.
Yes.
You see Annie just use her defense mechanism to just like zone out and
Yes.
put on a strong
Strong
front
face.
and not deal with reality, and then she just breaks down.
Yeah.
And for once she has someone there who
Yeah.
truly cares about her, so she wins. And that's the beauty of this movie. Although she lost Vanya, although she was treated like the worst person in the world, and like everyone treated her badly, she still won at the end of this movie, and that's beautiful, I think.
Yeah. That's yeah. That last scene was really shocking for me. I mean, I did not see it
Yeah.
coming. I thought the movie was gonna end there. But in that last scene, we see that again, yes, she is human. She's not just like she
Yeah.
shouldn't just be objectified and
Mhm.
yeah, which we also understand the role of what's his name?
Iger.
Iger. We also understand his role at the end of that movie. So that was a very uh touching scene.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the acting,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of Mikey Madison's movie before.
No, no, I didn't.
I'm pretty sure you did. You saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's the
Yes.
killer in the mansion.
She's one of the hippies.
Yeah, she
Everybody
went
was a
into
hippie
Brad
in that.
Pitt's house and killed her.
Everybody, like Margaret Qualley,
She was with
Austin
Margaret
Butler.
and Austin, and like it's the Quentin Tarantino
Everybody was in
spell.
it. Yeah, it's
Sydney
like,
Sweeney was in it too.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like, everybody was in this movie. Like 10 years from
Yeah.
now, we're gonna see like a new actor
Who
emerge.
were
It's
in
gonna
that
be
movie?
who was in that movie.
They were extras.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she actually got casted in this movie because Sean Baker, the director, saw her in Scream,
Okay.
and he saw the movie and automatically casted her as Annie.
Which Scream? The last one?
The not the seventh one, the one before the last one.
Oh, okay. No, I hadn't watched
Yeah.
it.
And yeah, she's like, all the things that I saw from her were roles where she played a villain, so it was nice to not see her completely as the nice girl, but somewhere in between. And Vanya, I think Vanya's Russian too.
I don't know, but if he's not, he did a wonderful job pretending to have that accent.
Yeah. So Vanya, his name is Mark. He's great.
I loved him and I hate him. I loved him because he did such a good job representing that role, but I
Yeah.
also really did not like his role. Like I even before like things went south with him and Annie, like there were just scenes where he just got under my skin. Like
Really?
she was cuddling with him and he was playing video games, and I was like, oh no, like this is this proves how much of a kid he is.
He is, but that's the thing. Like, you just think he's a kid.
Yeah.
And there are like certain mimics that he did and certain ways that he acted that those can't be scripted. It's just he's such a great actor, and I found myself missing him during the scenes where he wasn't there, because he's just so entertaining. He's always doing something weird.
Where's Vanya?
Yeah, where's Vanya?
Everybody was
And
looking
speaking
for
of where's Vanya, the guy, his godfather.
Yeah. Oh, the which one? The priest. The like. There's
priest.
so many characters.
The priest was hilarious.
Oh, they were all very funny, and like
Yeah.
I really did not expect that movie to be that funny. I feel like this is the best plot twist ever. I would place it second after Bodies, 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 but
Yeah,
it was
totally.
hilarious. But,
So the priest, his name is Karen in real life. He was in all Sean Baker's movies.
okay.
He was in Tangerine, The Florida Project, and now Anora. And he should have been nominated for like something
yeah.
in the Oscars as best comedic timing or something like that.
Best comedic timing. I like that.
Because I don't know, like I cry. cried from laughing that every single time I watch this movie just
Oh
because of
my God,
him.
same.
Yeah.
Also, one last thing I want to say is the parents.
Mhm.
I loved it. Through the whole movie, I was afraid of when the parents come. And like the whole movie, we know that like Vanya is a Nepo baby because of his father.
Yeah.
And then we see the mother come in. And then the father is just behind the scenes, just like waiting with his what it's gonna do. And I feel like this
Yeah.
really added to the comedy because we saw that Vanya was not afraid of his dad, he was afraid of his mom. And it was
Yeah.
hilarious to me. So yeah, I think that was very clever. Like it
Mhm.
was also a very clever plot twist
And
because
also
yeah.
the scene where Vanya is confronting his mom and he doesn't have a clue why she's mad and he's just like thinking that she's exaggerating everything is
Yeah,
hilarious to me.
yeah. Or like the
Yeah.
scene where Annie says, "Your daughter, your son hates you so much he married me to like get under
Piss
your."
you off. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shit, wow.
Yeah, also this is something that I want to point out, but this is a stripper movie, so it did include a lot of nudity and a lot
Yeah,
of sex scenes that were definitely necessary. But to me, it's crazy how it did not objectify or overly sexualize any of the actors.
yes, but this is what I also disagreed with. It did glamorize the lifestyle. Like
You
you
think?
see the scenes and it's sparkly and
Mhm.
there's the lights and I don't know, it just I felt like it was too pretty to be I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
But maybe you're supposed to be baffled by that, like, wowed by the whole universe to understand why those people get into this,
Mhm.
but also see why there's a downfall to
Yeah,
this kind of work.
that actually makes sense. Huh.
Because
Yeah.
like if you see that it's ugly from the start, you're not gonna get into it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it maybe it helps us understand Annie better, the fact that
Mhm.
it's so beautiful. Okay, yeah, that does make sense. I yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think we went over the
Yeah.
entire thing. I want to see Anora win all the Oscars this year. Like all my votes go for her.
For Anora.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since challengers didn't get nominated, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I have to look back up like who got nominated for what, and
Mhm.
yeah, I can't wait for the Oscars. I'm
Me
looking forward to
too.
watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please go watch Anora. Don't be like us and refuse to watch this movie. Just you still have time before the Oscars, so it's
Yeah.
your duty to watch it.
And to let us know what you think.
Yeah. So please like and subscribe.
Yes, and thank you so much for watching. See you guys next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye.